morning. It is so good that we are able to gather here together in this place at this time. Amen? Amen. So I thought I'd start something a little bit, or do something a little bit different today. I want to start off with a game. So this is going to be kind of a fast game, and I needed notes, right? Because it's not, it's not very difficult at all. I'm going to ask you some questions. No need to answer out loud, and no need to raise your hand. I wouldn't see you anyhow. But you get a point for every one of the questions that I ask. And it's that simple. So just keep track. We'll total them up. We'll talk about them later. So, are you ready? Here we go. It's going to go kind of fast. So, first question. Have you ever put on a helmet? Have you ever worn a seatbelt? Have you ever learned basic first aid? Have you ever grabbed a raincoat or umbrella even on a sunny day? Have you ever put napkins in your glove box or in your purse? Have you ever actually listened to the pre-flight instructions? Have you ever given your babysitter a list of important numbers? Have you ever listed an emergency contact? Have you ever had a smoke alarm or a fire extinguisher? Have you ever hidden a spare key? Have you ever ridden in any kind of vehicle with a spare tire? Have you ever packed a phone charger? Have you ever brought along some snacks? Have you ever carried a diaper bag? Have you ever worn a glove while watching a baseball game? Have you ever had insurance? Have you ever written down a password? And have you ever listened to your mom when she said, "Don't leave the house without clean underwear"? So if I'm talking to some folks last night, they had some fairly high numbers. I'm going to guess that at least we all had at least 4 points, right? Coming out of this quiz. We all had at least points. We all have a little bit of Boy Scout in us, right? That be prepared. Well, much before that motto was adopted by the Boy Scouts, 1907, by the way, it becomes kind of obvious as we look back in time that preparation is really a survival instinct. It's what people do to survive, right? We see it even as far back as our first reading today. Our first reading today, we were invited into the story once again of God's chosen people, those who were at that time enslaved in Egypt, and God made a promise to them. God said, "I will take care of you." And they had such a relationship with God that they began to prepare for that. And they believed that. They made sacrifices and continued their prayer life. And on the day that the Passover was to come, they prepared the lamb. They prepared the doorway. God kept his promise, and they were spared that day. Their families were spared that day of Passover. God kept his promise. Faith and preparation. In our second reading, we get to walk along with Abraham. So we probably remember the story of Abraham as well. Abraham had epic faith. I don't know that I have words in my simple vocabulary that can describe the faith that Abraham had. Epic faith. So much so that even we heard a couple weeks ago in our gospel, he was promised with Sarah that they would, even as old as they were, they would be given a son. And that son would have descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky. So countless that like the sand grains on a seashore. God kept his promise, and they had that son. And as Abraham's faith continued to grow, at some point he found himself prepared to sacrifice that son, that young son. Had to be confusing to him, right? You promised that we would have descendants from this son that would be numerous, countless as the stars in the sky. But okay, Lord, I trust. He deemed the one who made the promise trustworthy. Isn't that beautiful? What great faith. And as it turns out, he did have descendants as countless as the stars. God kept his promise. Faith and preparation. And as we move into our gospel today, we hear Jesus talking to his disciples. And he opens with, "Do not be afraid, little flock, Doesn't that make you feel warm? That's pretty cool. Do not be afraid, little flock. The Father is pleased to give you the kingdom. God is making a promise. So put your heart there, Jesus says. Put your attention there, your energy there, to heaven and heavenly things. Stop thinking about all this earthly stuff, these material things. It matters, we have to eat, right? But put your attention, your energies, your faith in God and your target as heaven. And prepare, because you do not know when you will come face to face. Jesus says, I promise, I will be coming again. Jesus promises, I will be coming again. And he will see us face to face. Whether it's at his second coming, whether it's at the day we die, we will see Jesus face to face again. Jesus promises us this. Be prepared, he said. You don't know the hour, you don't know the day. Be prepared. So what is he charging us to do? Jesus is charging us to continue our faith life, continue to build our relationship with God. Stop getting so bent out of shape about the earthly drama and put your faith in me. Continue to build our relationship, ours with God. Round 2 of our game. Round 2 is this. We can take this quiz today. We can take this quiz tomorrow. We can take this quiz every day, every week, every month, whenever we think. Remembering that prepare always is the theme, right? So now the second round. And these are worth multiple points. Not just the one from the first list. These are worth multiple points. So the questions are this. Did I pray? Did I go to adoration? Did I go to confession? Did I go to Mass? Did I serve? Did I forgive? Did I love? I had someone ask me yesterday, well, round 2, what were those points worth? And I'm going to tell you, my friends, I think we can multiply those by eternity. So let's think about this game for just a second as we wrap up. This first list that I gave you, right? This first list, all were things based on a maybe. This might happen. I might need this. All of the things on that list were based on a maybe. In our second round, Jesus has made a promise. We will see him face to face again. Jesus keeps his promises. Faith and preparation. Amen.